think we're live. Hang on. I'm not getting a single signal from Facebook, but I think we're live. Okay, we're live. Okay. I just didn't see the notification. So anyway, welcome everyone. I'm very tired. Um Sundays when I usually get the least sleep. And yeah. Um Normally I'm excited anyway, but oh, I had a hard time sleeping. But anyway, welcome to our live stream. I'm sure things will hype up in a second. But anyway, um, so, um, I was, I got ready to go to start at 6:49, but since it was 1 minute, I thought I could hurry run to the bathroom, and obviously it's 6:51 now. Who cares? We still start on time. We're good enough. 1 minute's not gonna hurt. Um, didn't want to start 1 minute early. There was just nothing I could do but go to the bathroom. Anyway, so yeah. Oh, I'm just so tired. I started the live stream at 30 seconds after it hit 6:50, so we were on time. It just took a second for me to realize, because when I go live, it takes a second to load, and it did give me the signal on YouTube that we were live before 6:51, but Facebook waited till 6:51. So anyway, so yeah, only Facebook's 1 minute late. YouTube, you're on time, so good job for you. Uh, I For those who don't know, we are starting Once Upon a Time in Wonderland. So if you were looking forward to Once Upon a Time tonight, I'm very sorry to disappoint you, but we finished the Neverland arc last week. Finding ironic in church today, second hour, one of the members of our bishopric, um, usually we rotate between Sunday school and elders and Relief Society quorums, but it's fifth Sunday. And so, when it's the fifth Sunday, usually the bishopric does a combined lesson with the whole warding or congregation, if you will. And we were talking about Peter Pan. It was kind of ironic. We were trying to relate similarities with Peter Pan in the gospel, um, with Peter Pan being like the temptation of to do bad things, and the gospel to do good things. We made a category for the real world and Neverland, and Neverland, no responsibilities and stuff. Real world, there's responsibilities, and you grow up and you learn and grow. Not like Neverland. At first, I thought Neverland was going to be translated to heaven. I'm like, oh no, no, I hate Neverland. It's evil, in my opinion. And so anyway, I thought it was about that, but no, they used Neverland as a temptation kind of sorts. So it was nice. It was something I could compare with, because Neverland is evil, guys. If you remember our last arc, we just finished the Neverland arc last week, and today happened to be about Neverland. They just talked about Peter Pan and Wendy the week after we finished the Neverland arc. And so luckily it's not a spoiler, and luckily you guys been through it now, so you know what I'm talking about. If they would have had this lesson earlier in the year, I would have been like, you guys will see. Neverland's evil. You guys already know, so you can laugh along with me. I thought we were done talking about Neverland, but apparently we weren't, because it was in the lesson today in church. So in after well, there's not a fifth Sunday doesn't happen every month. So when we finish the Wonderland series, they're not going to talk about Wonderland, I don't think. Um, but Wonderland is actually better than Neverland, don't you think? Alice is actually a hero in this series. It's a spin-off series. Alice is a hero, not a villain like Peter Pan was. They don't make that twist with this one. Alice is actually a good person. But the villain isn't the Queen of Hearts. The villain of the season is not Cora. The villain of this series is the Red Queen, and guess what? You're not gonna believe this. Jafar. I know, wrong franchise. What is Jafar doing in Wonderland? Isn't he from Agrabah Aladdin? Well, we will get flashbacks on Agrabah, but we won't see Aladdin and Jasmine in this series. So pre-warning you, don't expect to see Aladdin and Jasmine. This is Wonderland, Alice focused. But yes, we will. Jafar is the main antagonist above the Red Queen as second antagonist. The Red Queen actually has a redemption arc where Jafar doesn't. He's just plain evil. And so anyway, Jafar is our main antagonist. It's a little mix of Agrabah with Wonderland, but we only got the villain really, and his backstory in Agrabah and how he got to Wonderland will be explained. So we will get to see Agrabah, um, and we will get to see um, so it's something interesting is that you know how Jasmine's father's the Sultan. There's multiple sultans in Agrabah. There's the Sultan of the city of Agrabah and then the capital of Agrabah. There's like different kinds of sultans. There's more than one kingdom in Agrabah in the Once Upon a Time lore. And so when we get flashbacks of Jafar and his childhood in Agrabah, the sultan's not going to be Jasmine's father. It's a different part of Agrabah. But anyway, but we will get the some of the Easter eggs from Aladdin, like the snake staff and the genie, of course, because I mentioned in the introduction of the show. If you've been reading my Facebook post throughout the week to prepare you for tonight, I mentioned that Alice falls in love with a genie named Cyrus, a genie. So there's genies, there's a snake staff, there's a magic carpet, there's a few things. But Aladdin and Jasmine is actually going to make an appearance in the main show later on, and so they're not. That's why they're not in this one. Anyone who's in this show is not going to make an appearance in the main show, except for one of the characters, the Knave of Hearts, from again Once Upon a Time in Wonderland. The Knave of Hearts. He's not in the cartoon version, but if you watch the live action version, the Knave of Hearts works for the usually for the Queen of Hearts in the Disney live action. But in Once Upon a Time, he works for the Red Queen. And the Red Queen is not the same person as the Queen of Hearts. In some versions of Once Upon a Time in Wonderland, they call her the Red Queen, who wants Alice's head at the end of the story, right? But then you watch the Disney version and she's known as the Queen of Hearts. Once Upon a Time likes to adapt both fairy tales, both the lore fairy tale and the Disney fairy tale, and combines them together. But the way they combine it together is they don't make the Red Queen or the Queen of Hearts the same person, like other fairy versions of Alice in Wonderland. And Alice's Adventures in Wonderland is actually the original title, and Disney changed it to Alice in Wonderland. But anyway, besides the point, the Once Upon a Time's the only show out there that separates them to two separate beings. So Red Queen is not the same person as the Queen of Hearts. She covers a different part of Wonderland. The Queen of Hearts covers the whole, if you remember seeing Wonderland from Once Upon a Time season 2, Queen of Hearts covers them. Cora covers the whole maze, the whole green bushy maze. That's what you're used to Wonderland looking like, is a bunch of mazes. you know. But there's the other side of Wonderland that's not mazes. There's a clear path. There's a lot of grass and trees. And the other side of Wonderland, the Red Queen takes over. And so we're going to see the other side of Wonderland that was not featured in the show, in the main show. So anyway, that's going to be nice. You're going to see some parts of Wonderland that you haven't seen before because anytime when the main show mentions it, it's the green maze. You have to navigate your way through. Anyway. And then, if you touch the walls, the bushes pull you in. Anyway, we will see some of that in the Wonderland show as well. But, you know, just to know that there's more to Wonderland than meets the eye. So, and anything's possible in Wonderland, because in the show you'll find that Alice's boyfriend, Cyrus, they fall in love. And right before they get engaged, Cyrus gets killed. But we find out, because anything is possible in Wonderland, it's possible to be back from the dead. She finds out her fiance is still alive and goes back to rescue him, and because he proposes before he gets killed. So yes, it's about a search for a lost love. And because if you were to talk to someone on the streets saying that Wonderland was real, you would be locked in a nut house, really. And so, that's what happened to Alice. And when she finds out her love's alive, she escapes the asylum and goes back to Wonderland. And that's how our show starts, is that she escapes the asylum and goes back to Wonderland. And so everything I say right now is not a spoiler. This is just the setup to get you ready for the first episode. So yeah, she's going back to Wonderland to rescue her true love. And that's all I'm going to say there, because further than that will spoil the show. So anyway, I already have my episode ready. It is 7 o'clock now, so we're going to get started. I already gave you everything you needed to prep, so even if you didn't read my post, hopefully you were listening to the first 10 minutes. So, all right. Well, if you have your episodes ready, okay. If you have your episodes ready, Hang on. Push the first episode. If you're watching it, if you only have the DVDs, I'm sorry to say Once Upon a Time Wonderland is not on DVD. If you're only watching it on Hulu, it's not on Hulu. Actually, I heard the show is leaving Hulu soon, and the Hulu was going to shut down their app because you can get a bundle on Disney Plus. And so anyway, whoever has a subscription to only Hulu, you're going to lose that soon. So you might want to switch over to Disney Plus that has Hulu on it. But anyway, I don't think that's happening yet. I think the deadline was just a few days after today. So for those who are still subscribed to Hulu for the last few days, it's up. Um, it's not on Hulu either. So I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, you might as well jump off the live stream, or unless you're willing to buy the show on Amazon or something. I think it's like only $20 because it's a short season. It's cheaper than seasons of Once Upon a Time, which is like $36. It's only 20. If you want to use your money, you can. I sent out a message to people who I know don't have Disney Plus. I told them how they could buy Once Upon a Time Wonderland for a cheap price, and the cheapest price you can get it is $20. So go buy it for $20. Obviously, if you haven't bought it now, if you haven't bought it already and you want to buy it now, I'm not going to wait for you. I want to start this marathon, so feel free to stop watching this live and pause the video or watch the live stream later. Come back and I'll still be here. So anyway, but like for those who have Disney Plus, that's the only place it's available where you don't have to pay any money. As long as you have a monthly subscription to Disney Plus. Disney Plus's timestamp is 43 minutes and 30 seconds right before I push play. So make sure you have that at exactly 43 minutes and 30 seconds. And assuming everyone has that by now, yeah, we're going to push play in just momentarily. And let's see. Since I started a minute late, let's see if it's really been 10 minutes. Oh, it's not telling me. Interesting. Facebook's weird. It's not telling me. It says my Facebook live stream is still starting. I'm a little worried. That's not good. Hang on. Before we start, I want to make sure my Facebook live stream is okay. It's starting to worry me. Because like normally it has a timestamp on the bottom and it has something ready for me to end. Obviously I'm not going to end the live stream now because we're going to watch 3 episodes of Once Upon a Time Wonderland. But I'm going to end the video, but the option to end the video is not there, and it makes me worried. Anyone on Facebook's probably not watching. Oh shoot, hang on. I'm realizing this now, right when we need to start. Hang on. I want to make sure Facebook is with us. And so, anyway, event. I don't know what's going on. Don't know. Anyway. I'm going to restart the live stream to see if it fixes itself. Whoops. See if it works. Okay, it's working. So it's just the other one that's being weird. It's fine. Okay. So sorry, Facebook people. I did go live at 6:50. You guys started at 6:51. YouTube started at 6:50, and I pushed start, and it said I was live. But normally, when it says I'm live, it usually counts the seconds and minutes, and then right below that, it says end live stream on my end. The end live stream button didn't show up, and the seconds weren't counting. I thought it was still live, so I continued talking for 10 minutes about what Once Upon a Time Wonderland's about. Because we're not watching Once Upon a Time tonight. We're watching Once Upon a Time Wonderland. So you better have Disney Plus because that's the only place it's free if you have a subscription. Otherwise, you have to pay $20 on Amazon or somewhere else. So if you haven't done that, come back to the live stream later on. Once Upon a Time Wonderland is about a girl named, so Alice goes to Wonderland, falls in love with a genie named Cyrus, and then and then the Red Queen, not the Queen of Hearts, they're two separate people. The Red Queen ends up killing Cyrus. Alice goes back to the real world, gets locked away in an asylum for talking about her adventures in Wonderland and saying how were all real. When she finds out Cyrus is alive, she escapes the asylum and goes back to Wonderland to rescue her true love. And that's how the show starts. Is she goes back to Wonderland to rescue her true love. And then so that's the gist of what's going to go on. We haven't started the episode yet. I was just about to when I found out Facebook wasn't going. And so I'm like, uh-oh. And so anyway, I'm so sorry to bring you guys in late. But luckily we didn't start the episodes yet. So hopefully you have it ready though. If not, pause this video as much as you can. I am so sorry. I thought it was playing, but it wasn't because at least the reason why I know it's working now is I see the seconds counting on the bottom and there's an end live stream. So anyway, again, sorry for all that. I hope all is well with you guys. And yeah, well, we're gonna get started now. So now that I know that Facebook's working, um, you know, we can get started. So, if I given you enough seconds to hurry and catch up with us and get to Once Upon a Time Wonderland episode 1, the Disney Plus episode is 43 minutes and 30 seconds. So once you push play, make sure it's at 43 minutes and 30 seconds. So then and so then when I do a countdown, we all start at the same time. So anyway, I'm very sorry for Facebook people who are watching this later. You only have to listen to me talk for 3 minutes before we get started. For YouTube, when I was gonna start right at the 10-minute mark, but due to Disney Plus's issues, you guys have to listen to 17 minutes of me talking. I'm so sorry, but we are starting right now, so no worries. Um, uh, ah, Something's in my way. Something came up. Okay, there we go. I got rid of it. So anyway, let's get started. 18 minutes for YouTube now. I'm so sorry once again. And well, 3.5 minutes for Facebook. All right, let's get started. Three, two. Oh, I need to put my headphones in. I have them plugged in. I just didn't put them in my ears. One more delay to delay us a little longer. Three, two, one, now. So this is from the just like Once Upon a Time. This starts at the ending of Alice in Wonderland, where she just escaped from the Queen of Hearts is off with your head, and running back home. So this is how Alice in Wonderland ends, and this is where Once Upon a Time in Wonderland begins. Once Upon a Time in Wonderland. There's our title sequences. This is what they'll look like for the next 13 episodes. And we actually start in Storybrooke. How ironic. You weren't probably expecting to see Storybrooke in this show. I mean, it is a spin-off that takes place in the same universe. There's Will Scarlet, who I said on the YouTube version of the live stream that he's the only character that will cross over to the main series soon in season 4 when we get to it. As far as people from the main show crossing over to this one, there's a couple people. There's Grumpy and Cinderella. There's Grumpy and Cinderella. Nice cameos. There's a storm outside, and it's Storybrooke. We saw Emma's bug too. That was cool. Last time I saw Storybrooke, it disappeared off the map when Fan cast is cursed. So it's nice to see it back in its glory days. Now we're gonna see Alice in the asylum because they're calling her crazy. Wonderland's not real. Kind of crazy. The loony bin is what some people call it too. Our main protagonist right here. She's been in the asylum for a year. Well, we're getting a flashback to see if it's true or not that she actually went to Wonderland. So, yes, we saw Alice as a child originally. That was just to do what they did in Once Upon a Time, which is to start where the previous story ended, where the Disney version ends, where she goes back to the real world. See, here's the maze. Here's the maze. We're familiar with this. This is what the show was showing. You know, this is the Queen of Hearts territory. Mhm. Alice is all grown up. She's been to Wonderland more than once, not just as a child. She's gone back multiple times. That's what the story doesn't tell you until now. Welcome our second protagonist. Oh, see, there's a little reference to Agrabah because that's the place that actually has genies usually. She brought the rabbit with him. Good. He wants to fall in love with her. Okay, good for covering yourself there. You don't want to separate her from her love. Good. You don't want Alice onto you. You just love her, but you just met. That's the same like as if you said with the gospel when um if you have faith and have a strong enough testimony, you don't need proof. You can just feel it. Anything's possible in Wonderland. Keep that in mind as we're watching. Keep watching because anything's possible in Wonderland comes back a lot. My will's thine. Grant me your wishes three. For people on Facebook, I was gonna say this is has a little bit of Wonderland and Agrabah. We have Jafar on the show, but not Aladdin and Jasmine. We get the snake staff. We'll have Agrabah flashbacks as well. Um, there's multiple sultans in Agrabah, and the sultan we'll see is not from Aladdin. It's not Jasmine's father. It's a different sultan that's in a different part of Agrabah. Just like this is gonna cover a different part of Wonderland that the Queen of Hearts doesn't cover. So, the YouTube people already know this. I'm just repeating myself for Facebook since they weren't on the whole time. There's the boiling sea. That was not shown in the actual show at all. Other than the mazes, we haven't seen anything else. The land is more than just mazes. Meet the eye. There's more than mazes that meet the eye. Okay, so this flashback has a lot of time jumps. We saw Alice as a child coming back to Wonderland for the first time, coming back from Wonderland from the first time, and then we jump later to when she meets Cyrus. Now we're jumping even further after they spent years together in Wonderland. You know, um, they fell in love and now they're married. So anyway, it doesn't sound like a good chemistry because it sounds like they just met, but trust me, there's a time jump. We'll get more flashbacks of them in the show as well. So there's a lot of time jumps in this first flashback. They want to let us know Alice's first trip back, and they wanted to let us know how she fell in love with Cyrus to begin with, and then they wanted us to know how he lost it, Alice lost him, Cyrus. So lot to cover in the very first episode. I mean, you only have 13 episodes, so you might as well answer as many questions as you can in the short time you have. There's our Red Queen. Not the Queen of Hearts. Two separate women. This fairy tale likes to separate the two fairy tales, two originals. And of course, the Red Queen has magic, just like Cora does. And she knocks Cyrus into the boiling sea. And this is how Cyrus died. It's kind of sad. They've been together for years, and they just got engaged right before this happened. You lose your fiance right after being engaged. That's sad. You have a button on the top that you need a button, Alice. Sign it. She's gonna sign it. Don't sign it. It's a treatment that involves erasing her memories of Wonderland. Uh, Bethlehem Asylum. That's what it's called. Okay, Bethlehem Asylum, where all the crazy people are. Nothing's impossible in Wonderland. That means that Cyrus could be alive. If you believe in something strong, Wonderland makes the impossible seem possible. Nothing's impossible in Wonderland. Anything can be possible. Knock them all out. Alice is a kick butt warrior. She's not listening to you, Will. She's not listening to you, Will. We are late too. Rabbit, we're 8 minutes late. We had to start at 7:08 because Facebook wasn't working. So glad I didn't start the episode before finding that out. That would have been frustrating to start all over for Facebook. Funny thing, Once Upon a Time in Wonderland episodes are a little shorter than a regular Once Upon a Time episodes. They're 41 minutes instead of 43. The first episode is 43 minutes, but the upcoming episodes are only 41. So that should burn some of the time that we lost due to Facebook's issues. Dig your hole. Jump. It's cool. And Once Upon a Time in Wonderland, with the white rabbit on your side, you don't need a magic bean or a curse. You just use the rabbit to jump to other realms or the real world. Come on, Will. Help Alice. That's better than getting locked in a sane asylum. Next up, Wonderland. Finally, we're going to be in Wonderland in present day. Here they go through the rabbit hole. Jumping on a giant marshmallow. Wow, what dramatic music. Marshmallows. Well, that is true. Will, being from Storybrooke, and seeing everything that's going on in the main show, Jefferson's with his daughter after the curse is broken, and so he's happy. He doesn't need to come back to Wonderland. Mhm. In that house for a reason. Well, Alice lives in the 1800s. She doesn't know what a s'more is. That wasn't invented till the 1900s. Wow. Bill was thinking a lot faster than Alice. He had almost got to his face. That's the deal. You help Alice, she'll give you a wish. You might want to stick around despite all the bad decisions you made. Well, Rabbit ran away. He's unbelievable at the point. And working for the Red Queen. The rabbit is so scared of the Red Queen. You know who he should really fear though? Jafar, because the Red Queen is just a means to an end. She gets a redemption arc, but Jafar is plain evil throughout the series. Hmm. It's nice that our story started in Storybrooke. It didn't really start in Wonderland. It started in Storybrooke and eventually continued in Wonderland, and will be in Wonderland from here on out. So nice cameo though for what we got, right? Never thought you'd see Storybrooke again here. Hmm. Alice stopped believing in herself when she thought Cyrus was dead. Yeah, but the question is, how long can the Red Queen keep her evil act? You know, if she ends up on the wrong side of the staff, Jafar can kill you in an instant. Maybe it's best you don't work for him, because once you do, it's not easy to get out. If he's done with you, he's done with you, and he will kill you in sight. Well, that could have been a better or worser encounter for the Red Queen. Jafar is not in Agrabah anymore. He's in Wonderland. That doesn't mean we won't see Agrabah though, because there will be flashbacks giving us a little bit more about Jafar's backstory. Will took the shoes and the wishes. Well, it's still kind of far. The Chesser Cat. He looks a little more darker than the cartoon version and the live action of Disney. That's creepy. Oh, that's creepy. Have you expected the Cheshire Cat to be a little dark and evil? That's never usually in any Wonderland version. Oh no, Alice is in trouble. A giant Cheshire Cat is coming to eat you. It seems to me that the Cheshire Cat used to be good when Alice was a child, but now as an adult, he's become darker and more hungry because the Wonderland is running out of food, and so he's desperate to eat no matter what, even if it is his own old friends from childhood. Okay, Alice, you might wanna run. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Oh, no. Alice, flee for your life! He's gonna eat you! Hoo-yah! Will to the rescue. Throw the mushroom in there. Throw it, throw it, throw it, throw it. Shrink him to a normal-sized cat. Now he can't eat Alice. He's gonna have to pick someone his own size. From the Cheshire Cat. Will, you really wanted to steal those wishes, though. Admit it. Well, interesting Cheshire Cat. It was evil, wasn't it? Won't see that again. Just a little nice cameo of the original story of Alice and her adventures in Wonderland. That's what it's actually called. Disney just changes it to Alice in Wonderland. And then, of course, you got Once Upon a Time in Wonderland. There's the Mad Hatter's house. But the question is, will Cyrus be in there? This is only the first episode. It's not going to be that easy. Show could be over. The show could just be over in one episode, but it's not. Run in there. Run in there. It's nice to know where Jefferson used to live when he was in Wonderland. Rabbit, you should have probably thought about this before getting Alice in the nave. You should have, when someone says, you don't trust a rumor. Wait until you know for sure and that you've seen it yourself. So sometimes you don't need proof. But if Cyrus weren't alive, imagine hurting Alice right now. Oh well. Yeah. Now, White Rabbit feels bad. Poor Rabbit. He didn't mean any harm. Uh oh. My Disney Plus is on. A froze. Let me check my battery. I didn't plug it in, I realized. But looks like her necklace is glowing. Nothing usually survives the boiling sea. Well said the rabbit. Nothing survives boiling sea. If it survived, maybe so did he. Great rhyme of a line. Or he said it better at least. Okay. Exactly. When you really love someone, you don't need proof. You can feel it. He's alive. The necklace proves it because it's glowing. That's a lot of faith to put in a necklace, though. Would you guys believe it if the necklace of your loved one was glowing? Would you believe that they're alive? Like actually on this earth alive, not the spirit world alive, I mean. And look, we're gonna watch him flashback. Or no, not flashback. This is present day. Cyrus is locked in a cage. Flashback. There we go. That's the flashback I was waiting for. Cyrus falls to his death, but did he really land into the boiling sea? Or somewhere amid the smoke did he get saved by a magic carpet? And hence Jafar used his magic carpet to grab him and capture him, faking his death. Therefore, he never touched the boiling sea. Therefore, he's still alive and trapped in a cage. It's up to Alice to go find him and save him. The battle to save Wonderland has just begun, and the battle against Jafar and the Red Queen have just begun. And so is Alice and the Knave will on their journey to rescue Cyrus Alice's true love. Great start to the series of Once Upon a Time in Wonderland. And there you go, the credits. How was that for a first episode? I know the CGI is a little bad and not as great as the original series, but how did you like the story so far? The visual effects not so great, but the story is good, right? Story's good. So anyway, let's just start the next episode because we are behind. And again, this episode is 43 minutes and 28 seconds, but don't forget there's Disney Plus credits. So when you push play, make sure it says 43 minutes and 28 seconds left. But that, there's Disney Plus credits. This is really 41 minutes. So anyway, now that it's 8:51 and almost 8:52, we're going to start the episode right away. And hopefully that will kill the minutes. If we savor 4 minutes, we should be done at 8:34, which is perfect because then we'll be done right at 9:15 if we don't talk too much in between. So all right, let's just get started to make up for those little late 8 minutes. We never usually start that late, usually 7:05 tops. So I'm so sorry. Just had to make sure Facebook was okay, and it's still okay. 47 minutes and a half in. How's YouTube going? YouTube's fine as well. 1 hour and 2 minutes though. Feel bad for YouTube. I almost want to cut out the first 18 minutes so it doesn't look repetitive of what I've been saying. Because whenever I don't catch what I say on my Facebook live stream, I have to repeat it for Facebook. So anyway, yeah, I know it's like I'm feeding the same information like 2 or 3 times, and I'm just repeating myself for people on YouTube, but Facebook didn't hear me say it that many times. So anyway, we're gonna start the next episode, and luckily I don't have to be repetitive anymore. All right. Once Upon a Time in Wonderland, episode 2. So the first episode was called Down the Rabbit Hole. This is called Trust Me. We're gonna push play in 3, 2, 1, now. It just barely changed to 7:53, I've so we're probably not gonna be done right at 9:15 after all, because I wasted another minute. Mini and there's the carpet that Jafar's on. We've seen the flashback of how Alice fell in love with the genie and how they got separated. Now we're gonna get a flashback on Jafar. Jafar is listening. Jafar killed him because he used his third wish and wished the genie gone. No wonder he came to Wonderland because the genie was originally from Agrabah and he wished Cyrus to, and this is where he met Alice, and then find his way to Wonderland. So, yeah. Well, that sets up the stage for Alice to run to him. And there's our title sequence. Once upon a time in Wonderland. Oh, there's a fairy in the corner. What does a fairy have to do with this? Ouch. Will is not a bad guy. You can trust him. Trust him with the genie bottle, of course. The only people to not trust in Wonderland is Jafar and the Red Queen. The White Rabbit wasn't really sleeping. He was faking it. Guys. He's working for the Red Queen. You should know this. And there's Cyrus awake in his cage. What is everyone what is everyone doing in the Red Queen's castle? How rude to say to your subjects, you're a really bad queen. Your problems bore me. Oh. Oh, they're all frozen now. And the Red Queen didn't do this. It's probably Jafar checking in on her about the wishes. Yes, kill everyone, turn them into dust. Jafar. Well, I feel bad for those peasants who just died and turned into dust. Make Alice make her wishes. Have Alice make her wishes. Hmm. You don't understand you and true love, Will Scarlet? Oh, you have to cross a lake. How are you gonna do that without a boat? A foot massage. Oh my goodness. Imagine being the queen and getting a free foot massage. Hmm. Hmm. So, Will, you're scared of fairies and water? Oh my goodness. Well, no wonder we had a fairy in the title sequence. Silver Miss from like Tinkerbell movies. We've seen Tinkerbell, now we're getting Silver Miss. So apparently we're not gonna get a flashback of this because the show is only one season and you can only do so much. But Silver Miss and Will, you were used to be in a relationship, and then Will broke her heart, and and didn't love her the way she thought, and she's she's since then tried to move on from her feelings of Will Scarlet. Will was in love with another woman before Silver Miss, though. So Little hint there. Hmm. He can write with a finger. He doesn't need to use a pen or anything. Well, so the flashback, I guess, wasn't really about Jafar. It just started that way when the last owner of the genie wished Cyrus to the Wonderland, and now we're getting a continuation of Alice and Cyrus's meet after they met. Mhm. Eh, the rabbit was still in the bag, and when she decided not to give the rabbit to her father, she forgot to free him. There's a few rules. You can't kill anyone? How's that a rule? You could do that with your bare hands. Hmm. Now remember the genie from Once Upon a Time season 1, the mirror on the wall of the Regina? The rules were pretty much similar. You can't make anyone fall in love, you can't change the past, you can't kill anyone, you can't bring anyone back from the dead. Except in Once Upon a Time, there was more rules. You can't undo a wish, no matter the consequence. You can't. What are some other rules? Uh, you cannot wish for more wishes. You can't wish for less wishes. No more, no less. You can't wish for life or death. You can't wish for love. Anyway, I think that's about it. But Once Upon a Time had a little bit more rules than the Wonderland show. Oh well. Looks like Silver Mist did let her feelings get to her and dropped Will and Alice in the lake after all. Yeah, Alice doesn't know what a television is. Yeah. Uh, Good, Alice. You do not want to meet Jafar. He will kill you in an instant. So nice. We get another flashback of Alice and Cyrus. They're sitting at a restaurant of some sorts. Aw, a little rose. It's a paper rose, but it smells like a rose. How does a paper smell like a rose? That's a magical paper there. Move on. Yep. They make their wishes, and then the genie goes back to the bottle to the next master. Mm. Oh, now it turned into a real rose. The paper. The magical paper. Obviously, we know Alice doesn't make her wishes because she falls in love with Cyrus and wants to stay with him. Well, Red, Red Queen, you don't wanna enjoy while it can because Jafar is not always a man of his word, and he can also kill you if you betray him. So, I guess stop causing delay and make Alice use those wishes. They fell off their turtle. It's not an island, it's a turtle, a giant turtle. They're using the turtle to get across the lake, not the ferry after all. And Will can just relax for a little bit. Aww. Cool. And Cyrus is going to teach Alice how to sword fight. This is how she learned to defend herself when Cyrus was going into the boiling sea. This is where she got her fighting skills from. That was the weakness. True love's kiss. They love each other. They love each other. True love's kiss. Those lessons really paid off. Except for saving Cyrus from going into the boiling sea, but Jafar saved him. So don't make the good guys pay for the bad guys' mistakes. Well, at least Will's doing something right with Silver Miss. Will's doing something right with Silver Miss. We will find out who we will find out who Anastasia is as we keep watching the show. We've had a good flashback of Alice and Cyrus though, and how they fell in love. So if you didn't get the chemistry in the first episode, maybe you got it now. That's a great deal. That's a great deal, so they can stay in love. No more masters after Alice. Bury it. Bury the bottle. Yeah, I knew that was gonna. I knew he was gonna say that. I seen this show, not as much as the main show, but I kind of know where it's going on. I've seen it on repeat a few times. Jafar is gonna find the bottle. That's not gonna be good. Woo! Jafar is company. It's fair that Alice didn't trust you because you almost stole the wishes the last episode. So it took her a while to forgive you. Trust is not easily won back once you've broken it. The bottle's gone. Aww. Cyrus did not move on. He didn't take the bottle. He's still captured in a cage. Wow, Cyrus, you're gonna hurt your hand putting your arm through there. Aww. Ouch! You made a little love letter. Hopefully it gets to Alice. Wow. You stood up to Jafar like really crazy. You know, he could have killed you. Talking back down to him is not a good move. You got lucky there, Red Queen. So, flashback. Here's how the rabbit knew where the bottle was. They buried the bottle, but look who was watching in the background. They're not kids, Rabbit. Funny, Sarmlate looks like he has a family of his own. But anyway, White Rabbit saw them bury the bottle. He could have told anyone. No wonder why it's missing. It's not because of Alice's blind faith in Cyrus. It's not because of Cyrus at all. It's because of White Rabbit. That's a tale of heartbreak that we will get a flashback of in later in the show. That's sad. Her father was not a well. He was okay. He was a nice father, but he wasn't a loving father of sorts. You should never move on from the people you love. You should love them forever. It's a note. You should read it. Yeah, Anastasia broke Will's heart. We will find out more on that in a later episode. Leave Wonderland while you still can. You're not safe here, Alice. You cannot save Cyrus. Cyrus is so sweet to save Alice by not letting her save him because he doesn't want to cause her demise. Well, Alice can't go home because her father doesn't believe in her. That's not a good place to be. You don't need proof, but it is nice to have. You shouldn't need proof to have faith, but it is still nice to have if you do have it. It's not a bad thing if you do get if you do see your loved ones alive, or if you do see like an angel, from, from heaven. It's not a bad thing, but it is important to also have faith without proof. Alice got proof that Cyrus is alive thanks to that love letter Alice sent, and she wrote back saying, "I'm coming for you." And that wraps up that episode. How are you liking Once Upon a Time in Wonderland so far? Great setup. Great first two episodes setup. Flashbacks of Alice and Cyrus's chemistry and present day rescue mission. It's been great. And so anyway, life's been great. The search for lost love has just begun, and it continues on. And flashbacks of Alice and Cyrus's chemistry is great too. I know I said that all, but I had to repeat myself because the next episode was playing, and I had to pause it. By the way, if you're pushing the next episode, it's 42 minutes and 11 seconds. Look, it's even shorter because the other one said 43 still. This one's 42 minutes and 11 seconds. And if you minus Disney Plus credits, it's probably only 40 minutes, which we're going to start it right now so that we can end at 9:15. But before we do, everything's quite on a roll with the show. Great setup, uh, great chemistry between Alice and Cyrus, and a great and a search party to rescue him. Alice is coming for him, but the question is, how will Alice succeed? How will Cyrus be saved? A lot of, what's the backstory behind Jafar? Who's this Anastasia that Will keeps talking about? We're gonna find out. We're gonna start the next episode right here and right now. Um, just curious, how long has it been? Wow, an hour and a half for well, Facebook. Um, and wow, and about an hour and 47 minutes on YouTube. All right, we're gonna start the next episode now. So I hope you're liking Once Upon a Time in Wonderland. It's a great setup. Still great start to the series. Episode 2 is still kind of like the beginning of the series ish. It's kind of like a one movie. We got a little nice wrap up to our introduction, and now we're gonna continue on with this series. One more episode to go. Tell me what you think, and I can't wait. For next week, obviously, but we'll have time to talk after this next episode. So, no need to say goodbyes now. We'll talk after this episode. But okay, 42 minutes and 11 seconds. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, now. Wow, it's 8:38. We're probably gonna not finish by 9:15, but that's okay. At least I didn't talk too much in between. I kind of made up some of the time. If we didn't, if we didn't start as late as 7:08, we would have been done before 9:15. I'm pretty sure. Oh well, blame Facebook for our delay. We started on time for the most part. It was 6:50 when we started YouTube, and Facebook didn't start till 7. Kind of messed everything up. We're getting a recap of Once Upon a Time in Wonderland. Ooh. A few years ago, in the Enchanted Forest, We've been getting flashbacks of Agrabah and Wonderland, but we haven't gotten Tam Force in this show yet. They were faking it so they could steal from the riches and the kings and queens. How rude. It's Robin Hood. Were you expecting to see Robin Hood on this show? I told you a few characters from the show would cross over, but not. But what I meant no was characters from this show would not cross over to the main show except for Will. So I didn't say no to characters from the main show crossing over to the Wonderland, but I said no to Wonderland to Once Upon a Time. The vice versa. Anyway, and the reason why we get a flashback, yeah, the flashback. Will was Will Scarlet was once part of the Merry Men, and as was gonna say, the reason why we're getting a flashback of Robin Hood is because it's part of Will's story and where he comes from. He comes from the Merry Men, and so we have to have a flashback with Robin Hood in it. For those who missed Once Upon a Time and prefer that over this, then you're in for a great episode because we will get some familiarity with this episode. Crossover with Once Upon a Time has just begun. We see Cyrus here with another old dude, and you're probably wondering, what's the other old dude? What's his story? And what does he have to do with Jafar and his evil plans? Well, again, flashbacks to be told in the future. Alice. Cyrus is worried about what they're gonna do to Alice. True, she'll never make her wishes unless you get the right motivation. Mhm. They have a way of getting her wish. They have a way of getting the wishes out of Alice. It would have foiled Jafar's plans if Alice chose to leave and go back to England, because then they couldn't make her do her wishes if she went back to England. They need her in Wonderland to make her wishes. Welcome. You've been to Wonderland. Welcome to the Underland. Underland. That's weird. You've been to Wonderland, Alice, but you haven't been to Underland. That's weird. Ah, that's what the caterpillar does. Blows smoke right in your face. Like cutting your head off. So so he could cut your head like off with your head and put your head on a plate for decoration, mask for a centerpiece. That is evil. Hmm. Speaking of thieves, hmm, you when you steal for someone else, that makes you a hero. That is still thieving. That's still stealing, Robin Hood. It's still wrong to steal from the rich and give to the poor, than steal from the rich, rich and give it to yourself, or steal from the poor. And it comes with a price. Magic comes with a price. Don't steal magic. That's something else they don't do. So they're gonna steal gold from Maleficent. So that must be Anastasia. We're gonna find out who she is eventually. Oh, Cyrus! Oh, you didn't mean to, but you should have not gave it away. Keep your shock for later when they're not watching. Oh no, that could actually kill. You could have kept that to yourself. Hmm. I think your plan failed, Will. You fell into a snatcher trap. Ha. Nice try. Nice try sneaking up on the tender snatcher, whatever his name is. That is his house. There's Maleficent's castle. We haven't seen that castle since like season one, or Maleficent since season one. Oh, I guess we kind of saw her spirit in season two when Hook faced the spirit of Maleficent. But yeah, we haven't really seen her in a long time. This is her castle. There's her fireplace that she used to sit by. Uh-oh, don't let the dragon fire you on the way out. Uh, I thought Robin Hood said only steal the gold. Will, why are you betraying your membership on the in the Merry Men? Oh, really? Without using a wish? Okay, let's see what you have planned, Will. Uh-oh. Find Alice? That's, dangerous. They're sending a beast after her. Uh-oh. Will Knight, your plan did not work. You're gonna regret not listening to Alice. Trying to talk some sense into him to not work. And there's the treasure of gold in the flashback. I've not seen that much gold in my entire life. It was Will Scarlet. He took the magic mirror that Maleficent had. By not wishing. You just use a wish to cut a rope. But you don't wish to cut a rope, you just use the gems itself. Nice job, Alice. Oh no, the Grendel's coming after you. And then here comes the tender snatch. You're trapped. Be eaten by a beast or be eaten by another misunderstood monster. Is actually a human, but a little more different. Oh, no, Tinder snatch. Oh, and the Grendel got knocked out. Oh, no. Save yourselves. Oh, use the knock to trick the Tinder snatch. Good job. They were hiding there, but not anymore. Aw, poor Grendel. Will killed the Tinder snatcher with his own bare hands and knife. It didn't work. It didn't work. She didn't use a wish. He found another way, thanks to Will and killing the Tinder snatcher with his knife. Speaking of up against, is the Grendel still after them? Oh, that's when he turned into a beast. His wife is gone. Yep, his wife. That was his wife. After his wife was gone, he turned into a sort of a monster. Mhm. This is like Will knew from experience. We're gonna know more about him in a later episode. So, I mean, we're learning about him now, but not much about Anastasia yet. The Red Queen tore not just Cyrus and Alice apart, but he tore this guy, the Mr. Grendel guy, and his wife apart and turned Grendel into a monster. How tragic. Looks like he doesn't want to eat them after all, so they don't have to face him anymore. And the tender snatch is gone, so the Prince of Thieves. Robin is known as the Prince of Thieves. So he fired him from the Merry Men. And that's why he wasn't there in season 3. Except Mulan joined. How tragic. mm, don't trust his word for it. He's not to be trusted. He lies. Well, at least Alice and Will got the forget me not before Red and Jafar showed up. So, because they're off the dinner menu and they can find out what happened to the bottle. The Red Queen sounds a little shocked that the knave's here. Hmm. I don't think he meant by killing him. That was a shock. He did kind of ask for it. Little did he know Jafar was going to kill him to reunite with his wife. But at least they're together in the afterlife now, and maybe he's not as ugly. Red Queen, why do you have to keep tearing loved ones apart? First, we saw you do it to Alice and Cyrus, and you did it to Mr. Grendel. Hmm. Now we're gonna find out what happened to the bottle, and we all know it was probably Rabbit that took it, because he was actually there when Cyrus and Alice hid the bottle. The forget me not is not meant to change the past. You can only see it. You can't go back in time and change it. But by seeing the past, you can learn from it and change your future. Now they can find out who took the bottle. Come on, not is it gonna work? It's not working. Just wait. Rabbit took it and gave it to the Red Queen. he bet- he betrayed you. And Rabbit was a good friend. And now imagine the worst thing that can happen in a friendship is that your friend finding out you betrayed them. That and you lied about it. That would hurt. Like if you were honest and you betrayed them, that hurts. But to betray them and not tell them and lie about you being responsible for the betrayal, that yeah, double hurts. The caterpillar knows a lot, like his debts that he owes. That the knave owes the caterpillar. The Red Queen. Time to pay a Red Queen a visit because she has the bottle. Don't don't think No, just hand it back and you won't be in debt. Will, this isn't the time to change your mind. Will, just hand it back or you'll be more in debt. You're gonna burn the forget me not instead of giving it to the caterpillar. That still gets you in debt. So that's not good. Mhm. Speaking of flashback, since he was fired from the mayor Merry Men, Will went back to his precious Anastasia with the magic mirror. Didn't return it to Maleficent, so I'm surprised Maleficent didn't try to kill him for it. Surprise, surprise, Anastasia! Don't you recognize who that is? Who does she look like? That's the same actress. That's the Red Queen. The future Red Queen. She's not in her red clothes yet. She's more Pink Queen right now. It's the Looking Glass. Remember the sequel to the live action Alice Through the Looking Glass? We soon find out that following the rabbit down the rabbit hole isn't the only way to Wonderland. You can also go through a looking glass. Here we go. You can go to Wonderland. Will and Anastasia. Plot reveal. She is the Red Queen. We found out who she is sooner than I thought. I didn't think it was going to be our first night. I mean, we only have 4 Sundays. This Wonderland series is short, but I thought we weren't going to find out who she was till the next episode. So I'm surprised we got to find out on the tonight. And so I was thinking we weren't going to find out till next week, but I guess we found out tonight. So there we go. I mean, the plot, has to thicken quick because there's not a lot of episodes, so you can't go so slow like a regular Once Upon a Time series. You have to pick up the pace and the plot twist quick because of how short it is. They're going to Wonderland. They said that in episode 1 when Alice was escaping the asylum. Next stop, Wonderland. Now we're seeing Alice. No, now we're seeing Anastasia and Will do the same thing. And they're jumping to Wonderland. Again, we didn't find out what happened between the two or how Anastasia broke his heart. So I am right about that. We'll find out more on that next week because I know it's early in the series when we find out. And so it's not towards the end or anything. So we will find out next week what Anastasia did to portray Will. But at least we know Anastasia is the future Red Queen. So plot twist, I didn't even. Well, I knew I was expecting it to come, but I didn't expect it to come tonight. I didn't know it was this early. So anyway, yes, but yeah, Anastasia is the Red Queen. Now we just need to know how they, how she broke Will's heart. Anyway, that wraps up Once Upon a Time in Wonderland. It is 9:20, so we didn't get quite back on schedule. The first episode was a full 43 minutes, though. So, anyway, that still would have not made a difference. It would have been 9:18. So anyway, well, that leaves us for 10 minutes of Q&A, and there's no questions as usual. There's never questions on Once Upon a Time, but Once Upon a Time in Wonderland, that is. But wow, what a great start to a series. Not as great as the original, I know. But it's still good to watch. It's a short series. If it was long like Once Upon a Time, I probably would have not done it. It's not something I watched live. I like them. I stuck to the main show mainly because mom told us not to watch it when I saw a trailer and thought it was interesting. But anyway, I eventually watched it once it got canceled, and because I wanted to watch more Once Upon a Time. So anyway, but what do you think of the series? I think it's worth throwing in the marathon, especially since Peter Pan's curse sent everyone back to the Enchanted Forest for a year. Now, Once Upon a Time Wonderland's not going to take us a year. If it did, that would be pretty ironic, but it's not. Still, a month can feel like a year, and the whole month break, is another representation of us taking a year, while everyone's in the Enchanted Forest a year, we get to watch Once Upon a Time in Wonderland. A year in the Enchanted Forest doesn't have to be the same year as real life, real time. So anyway, you know, so this is a great series to begin on and watch while we wait for that year gap. Not really a month, but anyway, while we wait for the next few weeks, to finish season 3, we're here. Welcome to Once Upon a Time in Wonderland. I hope you enjoyed. Not everyone probably did because not everyone has Disney Plus, but for those who did, I'm happy you can jump along. If you're wondering when we will get back to the main show, we will by the end of next month. So, like the half season arcs of Once Upon a Time, this is only a half a season long. It's a 13 episodes instead of 11. But we have no Once Upon a Time specials, so watching 3 episodes a day puts us at 12. However, if there's only one episode in Once Upon a Time Wonderland, there's no need to add a 5th Sunday to it just for one episode. So we will have 4 episodes by the end of the series. We'll have to watch 4 Once Upon a Time Wonderland episodes. But tonight we'll just stick with 3. It's pretty good. A great start. Great to a quest to find Alice's true love. So, the series will pick up. Don't worry. It's just getting started. It's going to pick up way faster than Once Upon a Time. It has an end game. It's not going to end on a cliffhanger or anything. So, she will eventually save Cyrus. But not at the end of the series. There's a whole nother back half. Well, not really. I know it's 13 episodes, but within the 13 episodes, the Wonderland series is kind of cut in half as well. The first 8 episodes, actually. So most of it's going to be surrounding saving Cyrus, but the last 5 episodes is a whole different plot entirely. So anyway, so yes, the journey to save Cyrus is going to be pretty quick, and the whole show in general and the whole premise is going to be wrapped up pretty quick too. We're just, with Once Upon a Time, we've made it as of now. We've made it 1/3 through the show. 1/3. We started in April, and it took us all the way to the end of August to get through 1/3 of Once Upon a Time. Now, to be 1/3 through Once Upon a Time in Wonderland, that's different. We're not even going to be 1/3 next week. We're going to be halfway done by the end of next week. 1/3 of 13 is 4 episodes, and we only watched 3, so we'd have to watch one more. But since we don't watch one episode, we'll be past 1/3 after after next week, and so we're 1/4. I mean, technically, 13 divided by 3 is 4.3 or something. You can't really, and we're never gonna watch a partial episode. Come on, no. So anyway, I was just rounding, or no, but same with 12 divided by 4, or 13 divided by 4. If it was 12 episodes, that'd be easier because then that's 3. But it's technically 3.25 or something. Anyway, so we're not exactly 1/4. If you want to be strict, we have to get through about 10 minutes of each episode's of 40 minutes. So we have to get through 0.25 percent of another episode to be a quarter through. But anyway, if you just round to the nearest episodes, you could just say 3 is a quarter of the series. So therefore, we're a quarter way through the show. And that, for that to happen in one night is insane. Because when we watched Once Upon a Time, the main show, though we're 1/3 right now, 1/3. When we got 1/4, that was when we finished season 2, and that was way back on July 20th. So on July 20th, we got through 1/4 of the original series. Took us what? April, May, June. Took us July, so it took us 4 months to get through 1/4 of the main series. 4 months, or actually 3.5, since it was July 20th, and we started a little later in April. Um, about 3.5. Let's see, we started on April 13th, and we ended on July 20th. So that's 3 months and 1 week. So yes, 1 week over 3 months. So that's crazy. Mathematically, if it takes us 3 months and 1 week to get through a quarter of the series, then 3 times 4 is a year, but because it's one extra week, our whole marathon is meant to be a whole year in 1 month. Because those 4 extra weeks add up to another month. So anyway, 1 year and 4 weeks, or 1 year and a month. Anyway, but that's the main show. Once Upon a Time Wonderland is so short that it only takes us one night to get through a quarter of it. That's crazy. That means after next week, we'll be halfway. In 2 weeks, we'll be 3/4, and then after that, we'll be done. This is why on my arcing list, I added it as an arc, even though it's not a season arc. It takes the same amount of weeks. Um, you know, Even though our half season arcs are 11 episodes, you know, and that's because there's a Once Upon a Time special that goes along with them. And since Once Upon a Time Wonderland doesn't, that puts us at 3, 6, 9, 12, right? But because there's only one more episode left, it's easy to just do 4 episodes on our last night. So anyway, so maybe not the same amount of episodes, but since it has the same amount of weeks as a half season plot, it's kind of interesting. It gives us 7 half season plots, which I know is an odd number, but instead of worrying about making that even, I'm just more excited at the fact that because the show's actually 7 seasons long, but yet these half season arcs are only a half a season, therefore they only cover 3.5 seasons, which is half of the show, meaning the other half of the show, I mean, I guess you have to disinclude Wonderland because it's a separate series entirely, but still, with the half season arcs covering half of the show, the other half is not half season arcs. It's either mixed plots or a full season arc. So anyway, crazy. Yes, and when we get to the end of the show, we won't have half season arcs anymore. It's just season 3, 4, and 5 that have half season arcs. So once we finish season 5, we'll be back to where we were in season 1 and 2 with full season arcs and a lot of filler episodes. And anyway, yes. So now that I filled up the time, it is 9:30. It's time to wrap up. Since there are no Q&A, I think that's perfect. Yes. Though our Facebook live stream started 10 minutes late, actually. It originally started 1 minute late, but I found out it wasn't going right before we started the show, which kept us not starting the show till 7:08, right? Facebook may have messed our schedule a little bit. But look, we're ending right on time. Usually when my schedule gets messed up due to live streaming issues, or I just can't start at 7 because I'm at a family reunion or sorts, I usually end the live stream a little bit later due to that. But there's no reason to end it, since at least the YouTube one has been around since 6:50, and they had to hear me repeat a few things because of Facebook, so they're probably annoyed. Now with it being 2 hours and 39 minutes, the live stream is supposed to be 2 hours and 40, having started at 6:50 and ending at 9:30. That's 2 hours and 40 minutes. It's actually ending on time, despite it starting, despite at least the Facebook one starting later, way later, 10 minutes later. The Facebook one is only going to be 2.5 hours, but or actually even less than that. It was a couple minutes after 7 when I finally got it starting again. So anyway, it's going to be close to 2.5 hours. It's going to be shorter due to its lack of streaming. But for at least for YouTube, we get to end right on time. You guys had no issues at all today. So woohoo. Usually if there's issues, it's usually the YouTube one that ends, and then I have to download it from the Facebook version to YouTube. But no, I don't have to do that. And I don't have to do the vice versa either, because the Facebook live stream did work. We just lost the first 10 minutes of it, which doesn't matter to me. I only choose to start 10 minutes early in case there are people who want to watch and they forget it's on. And so then when they get the notification that I'm going live, they have 10 minutes to jump on, before we start the episodes. I give a 10-minute leeway, remember? So I don't really care if I lose those 10 minutes. As long as we have both live streams starting before I start the episodes, then I'm not upset. So I'm glad I realized the live stream wasn't working before I started the episodes tonight. So anyway, with that said, it's 2 minutes and 2 hours and 40 minutes now, according to the YouTube version. So I'm going to say goodbye. But like I said before, I'm not going to repeat myself twice anymore. So let me say goodbye to Facebook as well. Once I end the YouTube live stream, you can click off Facebook. I'm not going to say anything else. It'll just take me a few more seconds to end the Facebook one. Actually, no, I should end Facebook first because those ones don't last forever, and I like to have every single minute recorded. So actually, goodbye to Facebook. Oh, I was so wrong. We started at 7:05, it looks like, because it's barely 2 hours and 25 minutes on the Facebook version. Oh, wow. I thought it was going to be like 2 hours and 28 minutes, but wow. I mean, it's 26 now, and that's because it's 9:31. But anyway, at 9:30, that's crazy. It started way later than I remembered. All right. Well, goodbye, everyone, both Facebook and YouTube. Since I'm going to end Facebook first, actually, YouTube, once I say goodbye, you can just click off. The only reason I'll still be on the air is because I'm ending Facebook first. So anyway, yes, I also dyed my hair red. It works good with the Wonderland series, don't you think? I'm sorry if you missed the blonde. But anyway, have a great night, everyone. And we'll see you next week for more Once Upon a Time in Wonderland. Bye, y'all!